So you're starting a business. That's awesome. And picking the name, that's got to be one of the best parts. But there's this tiny legal thing right at the beginning that can seriously trip people up. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down and make sure you get your business name right, like legally right from the very first day.
Okay, so it really all comes down to this one simple question. Is your business name official, or is it kind of an outlaw? And look, I know that sounds super dramatic, but getting this wrong, it has some pretty serious consequences. So let's make sure you're definitely on the right side of the law here.
All right, section 1. Let's talk about the fun part first, right? Choosing that perfect name. I mean, this is your identity, it's your brand. But hold on, before you rush off and start designing that amazing logo, there's a really basic but super important legal choice you've got to make.
So here's the first big fork in the road, and it's actually pretty simple. Path number 1, you can just trade as yourself. Like Jane Smith. Simple, direct, uses your actual legal name. Path number 2, you can create a totally unique brand name, something like Sunshine Photos. Now that sounds a bit more polished, right? But, and this is the key, it requires an extra legal step. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
Okay, so what is this extra legal step I'm talking about? I know, it might sound a little intimidating, maybe like a bunch of legal jargon, but trust me, the rule itself is surprisingly straightforward. It's really all about one single idea: transparency.
And here it is. The key piece of the puzzle is something called the Business Names Registration Act. All this law really says is, if the name you're doing business under isn't your actual legal name, you have to register it. That's it. So if our friend Jane Smith decides to call her business Sunshine Photos, she absolutely has to register that name. It's what makes it legal.
So, you might be wondering, does this apply to me? Well, let's break it down. If you're a sole trader, yep, you have to register if your business name isn't your own name. Simple as that. If you're in a partnership, same deal. If the business name isn't just a list of all the partners' legal names, you've got to register it. So for example, Smith & Jones is totally fine, no registration needed. But something catchy like S&J Creative? Oh yeah, that definitely needs to be registered.
But why? What's the point of all this? Well, the whole reason this law even exists is to make sure people can't just hide behind a random business name. It's about making sure that when a customer works with, say, Sunshine Photos, they have a way to know who the real person behind it is, in this case, Jane Smith. It really just comes down to accountability.
Okay, section 3. Let's talk about the what if. What if you just skip this step? I get it, you've got this amazing name, you're super busy getting things going, and registration just feels like one more piece of annoying paperwork. Well, this is where things can get, let's just say, seriously risky.
And I want to be really clear here. This is not just about ticking a box on some government form. The consequences, they are very, very real. And honestly, they can threaten your whole business before it even has a chance to get going.
So what are we talking about here? Well, first off, heavy penalties. We're talking big fines. Second, you could be accused of misrepresentation, which is a huge blow to your reputation. And third, and this is a big one, you risk a serious legal charge for falsely holding out a business structure, which basically means you're pretending to be a more official type of company than you really are. Not good.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't just some interpretation. The actual law, the legislation itself, says its whole purpose is to, and I'm quoting here, avoid misrepresentation and heavy penalties. The law is literally telling you what it's trying to prevent and what will happen if you don't listen.
Okay. Whew, that was the scary part. Now for the good news. Getting this right is actually super simple. So let's completely reframe this. Stop thinking of it as a chore or some legal burden. Instead, think of it as the very first official, empowering step you take to build a real, legitimate business.
Honestly, it boils down to just 2 super simple steps. Step 1, choose your business name. And you've already done the fun, creative part of that. Step 2, register it. That's it. You choose it, you register it, and boom, you are set up to trade legally and with total confidence.
So just remember, this is about so much more than just avoiding some fines. Registering your business name, that's the moment your cool idea becomes a real, official identity. It's the foundation you build your brand on. It's where your reputation starts. It's the beginning of earning your customers' trust.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one thought to chew on. Your business name, it's the very first promise you make to every single customer. And by registering it, you're making a promise that you're transparent, you're professional, you're legit.
So the real question is your promise built on a solid legal foundation?